Queen Sylvie of the multiple award-winning The Queen Sylvie Show. You want to expand and get noticed? Then come outside your box and into our world. Internet advertising has a real impact on global awareness and even sales, so let's make an impact together. Offering for a limited time advertising and sponsorship packages that excel your purpose. So contact Queen Sylvie or Smooth Tim for the exciting opportunities that awaits. Yeah.
Are you tired of driving around a dirty car? Say hello to the ultimate solution for your car. Quick Auto Detail, home, work, or wherever. Their mobile car spa will clean and shine your car anytime and anywhere. Their products are gentle on your car's paint, and they use only the highest quality materials. Book your appointment now.
Hey kids, how would you like to hear this on the screen instead of the great show you came to see? That's what you sound like. Honest. Please cooperate and do your part in keeping this theater quiet so everyone, including you, can enjoy it. Now remember, lots of adults and kids, too, paid admission to enjoy the show. We must insist on absolute quiet.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rock.
Hey, it is Smooth Tim, and thank you so much for dropping by and spending another hump day with me on Tim's Tidbits. I hope you're going to enjoy the show. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff tonight. Obviously, you know that the presidential debate was last night. We'll talk a little bit about that. Things are still ramping up in between Ukraine and Russia. They're still, launching missiles back and forth at each other, and Ukraine's in a little bit of the Russian territory. We'll see how that all plays out. That's still, keep your eye on that one, folks. And, domestically and internationally, there's things going on. So all we can say here, at the Queen Sylvie Show, at Tim's Tidbits, and the Now You Know show is faith over fear, people. You will get through it. How about some analytics from last week's show? The United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Mexico, Germany, Poland, Africa, Ireland, France, Australia. Thank you, folks, for tuning on in. Certainly appreciate you. Yes, I do. Anyhow, let's see what the heck may be going on. As I first brought up, the presidential debate was last night. Let's dive right back. Vice presidential debate. Excuse me. Yeah, between the two vice presidential candidates. With we'll see what happens. Let's take a quick look at the highlights of the debate, and I can wrap it up for the entire debate, even though it lasted 2 hours. I'll wrap it up for you in exactly 3 minutes. Check it out.
Let's introduce the candidates. Minnesota's Democratic Governor Tim Walz and Ohio's Republican Senator J.D. Vance tonight meeting for the first time.
First of all, let's start with the hurricane, because it's an unbelievable, unspeakable human tragedy. I'm sure Governor Walz joins me in saying our hearts go out to those innocent people, our prayers go out to them, and we want as robust and aggressive as a federal response as we can get.
Senator Vance has said that there's a climate problem in the past. Donald Trump called it a hoax, and then joked that these things would make more beachfront property to be able to invest in.
We have a historic immigration crisis because Kamala Harris started and said that she wanted to undo all of Donald Trump's border policies.
This is what happens when you don't want to solve it. You demonize it. And we saw this. And Senator Vance, and it surprises me on this, talking about and saying, I will create stories to bring attention to this. That vilified a large number of people who were here legally in the community of Springfield.
The people that I'm most worried about in Springfield, Ohio, are the American citizens who have had their lives destroyed by Kamala Harris's open border. It is a disgrace, Tim. And I actually think, I agree with you. I think you want to solve this problem, but I don't think that Kamala Harris does.
Thank
Margaret,
you.
the rules were that you guys weren't going to
we're-
fact check. And since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The
we want to
CBP
have
One app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something that Kamala Harris created, Margaret.
gentlemen. The audience can't hear you because your mics are cut.
But as I read the Minnesota law that you signed into law, the statute that you signed into law, it says that a doctor who presides over an abortion where the baby survives, the doctor is under no obligation to provide life-saving care to a baby who survives a botched late-term abortion. That is, I think,
That's
whether
not
you're
true.
pro-choice or
That's not how the law
pro-abortion,
is.
that is fundamentally barbaric.
These are women's decisions to make about their healthcare decisions, and the physicians who know best when they need to do this. Trying to distort the way a law is written to try and make a point, that's not it at all.
What was I wrong
This
about,
was-
Governor? Please tell me, what was I wrong
That is
about?
not the way the law is written. Well, I think all the parents watching tonight, this is your biggest nightmare. Look, I got a 17-year-old, and he witnessed a shooting at a community center playing volleyball. Those things don't leave you. I 100% believe that Senator Vance hates it when these kids, it's abhorrent and it breaks your heart. I agree with that. But that's not far enough when we know there are things that worked.
Tim, first of all, I didn't know that your 17-year-old witnessed a shooting. And I'm sorry about that. And I hope that he's
appreciate
doing
you saying
okay.
so.
Christ have mercy.
January 6th was not Facebook ads. This was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is
Has
a damning non-answer. Kamala Harris is bringing us a new way forward. She's bringing us a politics of joy. She's bringing real solutions for the middle class, and she's centering you at the heart of that.
We have the greatest country, the most beautiful country, the most incredible people anywhere in the world. But they're not going to be able to achieve their full dreams with the broken leadership that we have in Washington. And whether you vote for me or vote for Tim Walz, I just want to say I'm so proud to be doing this, and I'm rooting for you. God bless you, and good night.
Interesting little spat back and forth between the two VP, between Waltz and Vance. And, it was interesting. The only stumbling point I seen big time was Waltz, when he propounded that question to Vance, did Trump lose the election? And he skated right over top of that one. And there was another one that was, and the other thing that they brought up and they kind of cut, and I thought it was interesting, is, and Waltz made a point out of it, was when they were talking, Trump talking about the wall. And he said, you had 4 years to complete a wall, right? And you only completed 2% of it. And you promised that the Mexican government was going to pay for it. And to date, we haven't seen one dime for the wall from the Mexican government. So you kept 2% of your promise and none of your promise when you said that Mexico would pay for it all. So, hey. But anyhow, it's terrible how they're creating problems in Springfield, with the rhetoric, and also in Colorado. And check out what somebody did in Colorado in response to some of this hate rhetoric. Let's call it hate rhetoric.
Forget the iconic "Welcome to Colorful Colorado" signs. This state has a new welcome sign of sorts, less of a greeting, more of a warning for drivers coming down from Wyoming.
Venezuela ahead. Be prepared, says the sign along I-25 southbound at the Wyoming-Colorado line. The billboard reads, paid for by Clipper Properties, LLC, Tim Mellon, member. Tim Mellon is the name of Donald Trump's single biggest donor. The resident of Wyoming gave $125 million to a pro-Trump super PAC. That's according to Open Secrets, which tracks money in politics.
One of the issues with tracking Mellon's donations is that we really don't know at this point what is motivating him.
The New York Times calls Mellon a reclusive billionaire whose autobiography said the social safety net was essentially slavery. and that blacks became, quote, even more belligerent after the expansion of social programs.
Up until recent years, he really existed within the shadows, at least in terms of the political arena. Only recently, in the last few cycles, has he started to pump money into elections.
Mellon and the lawyer connected to the LLC on the billboard did not respond to requests for comment, so we have not independently confirmed that it is the same Tim Mellon.
Can't confirm that it's the same Tim Mellon. What if that's the same Mellon they depicted in the comedy Back to School? I doubt he can dive. No, who knows? Anyhow, isn't that horrible? You know, and that's the kind of stuff that gets put up because of the hate speech that goes on. And, you know, it is so much easier. We're all immigrants. The only people that really belong here is the indigenous Indian. And, you know, everybody else wants to debate about, you know, my turf, my job, my prop. Oh, come on, people. My property. Yeah, tell that to some of these indigenous people. my property, my life. Yeah, we'll make it all better for you. Trust the U.S. government. Anyhow, hey, you know that also some of the other rhetoric that has been spewed is that Kamala Harris and Mike Waltz and the entire left side is, you know, into all this gender stuff. Gender changing, you know, supporting all this stuff in schools privately. Check this out. This is just a little commercial showing you how stupid all this really is.
Schools on the march.
Can you imagine you're a parent and your son leaves the house and you say, Jimmy, I love you so much. Go have a good day in school. And your son comes back with a brutal operation. Can you imagine your child goes to school and they don't even call you and they change the sex of your child?
Your kid goes to school and he comes home a few days later with an operation. And you know many of these childs 15 years later say, what the hell happened? Who did this to me?
Go get your football, Jimmy.
That's how stupid that really is. Yeah. You're going to send your kid to school and he comes back from Jimmy to Janie. But there's people that bite onto that garbage, you know, just like the same garbage he spews about a whole lot of different things. Windmills causing cancer, killing whales, and all that good stuff. There is no such thing as climate change. Tell that to people down in the Carolinas, down along the coast that just got slammed the shit out of the latest hurricane, that there's no such thing as climate change. Also, what he said there is no such thing as is that from the research he's done and his folks on his side have done, that Kamala never really worked at McDonald's, and this is becoming a big topic. And so Donald put out a commercial on this also.
For a long time, she's been talking about her experience at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's over the French fries. It was so hot. I think I'm going to go to a McDonald's next week someplace. I'm going to go, might not be in your place. I'm going to go to a McDonald's, and I'm going to work the French fry job for about a half an hour. I want to see how it is. But she said she worked since she grew up in terrible conditions. She worked at McDonald's. It was such. She never worked there. And these fake news reporters will never report it. They don't want to report it because they're fake. They're fake. They don't want to report it. She never worked at McDonald's, but it was a big part of her resume. They went to the different places. Did she work here? Did she work here? Did she work here? She said, we don't know who the hell she is. Leave us alone. We're making hamburgers.
Really hate that sad loser, Mr. Newberger.
Who, me?
Who, me? So there's Trump's McDonald's ad. He actually, I can't believe the little stuff that they go after. They was talking about some gaffe that Waltz made in regards to he was in this square in China where remember where the protester tried to stop the tank from running over him. Like he had made a statement that he was there, but he was not there at the time, but he was there in that place. And just the way that he formatted his answer, it was misconstrued and mistaken and twisted and turned. And so you got to be careful what you say and how you say it, obviously also in politics, because that's going to turn around and bite you in the ass for sure. But anyhow, yeah, it was interesting little bit back and forth. The other part of it is that, Kamala's coming out with her economic plan. Talking about giving some tax breaks to first-time parents, first-time home buyers, some of these other different in and outs, try to stimulate the economy a little bit, get people back on their feet. But let's take a look at the idea of Trump's economic package and he wants to tariff everything. So what happens, if, all the imports coming from China and other countries, what happens when he imposes huge tariffs on these products that we buy in the United States?
If Donald Trump wins in November, he'll make inflation explode. That's what 16 Nobel-winning economists are telling us. Here are 5 ways Trump has proposed blowing up the U.S. economy. Number 1. Trump's crazy tariff plan. Trump seems genuinely confused about what tariffs are and who pays them.
We're taking in billions and billions of dollars in tariffs that China is paying for.
Nope. Tariffs are not paid by the other country. They're paid by the American importer, with the cost typically passed on to American consumers, as even Fox Business pundits have to admit.
Remember, tariff is a tax. Tariff is a sales tax.
Now, targeted tariffs on specific products can give American-made goods an edge over imports. But there's no strategy behind the tidal wave of tariffs Trump is proposing. He's talking about making you pay 60% or more tax on everything imported from China, a 10% tax on everything imported from anywhere else. This would cost the average family an estimated $2,500 extra per year. And this is a regressive tax, taking a higher percentage of the paychecks of the working class and the poor than out of the incomes of the wealthy. Number 2. Trump's monopoly plans. If you've watched our other videos, you know corporate consolidation is one of the biggest drivers of inflation. When there are fewer competitors, corporations can raise prices without worrying about losing customers. Trump and the MAGA team want to make this worse. Project 2025 specifically seeks to fast-track airline mergers.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
And as part of Trump's efforts to solicit campaign donations from big oil executives, he's suggesting fast-tracking oil mergers. This would let them pump up your gas prices. And speaking of gas prices, let's talk about number 3, Trump's energy price hikes. Trump's promising to kill the Biden-Harris administration's clean energy incentives and fuel efficiency standards. Now, this means you'll be spending more on fuel because your car will need more gas and your appliances will use more electricity.
No refunds!
Number 4, Trump would make your money worthless. Worth less. The American economy is strong right now compared to other nations, so the American dollar is worth more versus the euro, the yen, or other major currencies. At a moment when Americans are worried about how far their dollar goes, most American people would call that a good thing. But Trump and his economic advisors are reportedly so obsessed with trade deficits that they're looking for ways to devalue the dollar. This might help big corporations that export products, but it would also raise import prices and overheat a U.S. economy already running hot. Number 5, Trump's deportation plan. Trump would decimate the American workforce and he's bragging about it.
We'll carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history.
Putting aside the horrific moral consequences, this would make the whole economy collapse. There are more than 1 million undocumented laborers in construction, over 1 million undocumented farm workers, and about 1 million undocumented food service workers. What do you think will happen to the price of food and housing if these workers are suddenly deported? Prices will explode. Trump has no understanding of the economy. That's why he's driven so many businesses into the ground. He's even driven casinos into the ground. How do you lose money running a casino?
Because the house always wins.
You'd think. But since Trump doesn't understand the economy, listen to the people who do. The 16 Nobel economists who say Trump's economic plans would be an inflation bomb. Boom!
Boom. Here you go, an inflation bomb. And we got enough things going on. I mean, it's already ridiculous going to the store, right? Come on, you can agree with me on this. I'm just giving you both sides of this story. But damn, I'm getting tired of paying high prices, and I finally see some prices starting to come down a little. I don't need them to get jacked up because you're going to run tariffs on all these other different supplies and needs of, even if it's somebody needing a part for their factory domestically. Come on. Tariffs are not the answer. There's other ways to drive our economy into the ground, Donald, besides that idea. Speaking of bad ideas, and Don has had a few, you've seen him on TV. He's been hawking Bibles, the Trump Bible. Yep, and you have a copy of the Constitution there at the forefront, or is it the back of the Bible, whichever. It really has no place in the Bible. That's just my opinion. You've seen him hawking gold shoes, limited edition gold shoes. I don't know, have any of those been delivered yet? Ought to see if anybody has pre-ordered one of Donald's gold shoes. Let me know in the comments, and if you have received your shoe. Be interesting. Also, Trump steaks. You know, there's Trump steaks, Trump casinos, and all of them have kind of been a bust. But there is a genius, a must-have idea that he has come up with for the run to his presidency, I guess. And it truly is the must-have item for every man out there. Check it out.
It's your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, here to introduce something really special. I think you're going to love it. My new Trump watches. This isn't just any watch. It's one of the best watches made, with almost 200 grams of gold and more than 100 real diamonds. That's a lot of diamonds. I love gold. I love diamonds. We all do. Owning one puts you in a very exclusive club. I have watch number 1, and I'm going to keep it. It's mine, and that's the way I want to have it. Each watch is numbered and extremely rare, a true collector's item, and it includes a personal letter signed by me. Get your Trump watch right now. Go to gettrumpwatches.com. It's Trump time.
Und was ist los? Woher kommt die Schießerei?
Mein Führer, darf ich Ihnen zum Geburtstag gratulieren? Mein Führer, das Zentrum von Berlin steht unter Artilleriebeschuss. Granaten sind in dichter Folge am Brandenburger Tor, am Reichstag und bis hin zum Bahnhof Friedrichstraße eingeschlagen.
Von wo kommt der Beschuss?
Mein Führer, wir haben noch keine Meldung. Ich spreche gerade mit Koller.
Koller, geben Sie mir Koller. Koller, Sie wissen, dass Berlin unter Artilleriefeuer liegt.
Nein.
Ja, sagen Sie. Hören Sie den Beschuss nicht?
Nein, ich bin in Wildpark Werder.
Riesige Aufregung in der Stadt. Die Russen sollen eine Eisenbahnbrücke über die Oder haben.
Der Feind hat keine Eisenbahnbatterie an der Oder. Es handelt sich hier nicht um Fernfeuer. Der Divisionsgefechtsstand der Flak am Zoobunker meldet, dass es sich hier um Geschütze nur des Kalibers 10 bis 12 Zentimeter handelt. Die russische Batterie ist bei Marzahn in Stellung gegangen.
Das sind ja nur 12 Kilometer bis zum Stadtkern. Ist der Russe schon so nah? Man müsste die ganze Luftwaffenführung sofort aufhängen!
Wow, he really wants that watch. He's looking for watch number 2, or he wants to... Never mind. Anyhow, there's another beautiful item that you can get to help support the man who flies around on his own personal jet, has his own lavish home on his own lavish golf courses, in plural, and you're sending him money, and he's taking it out of your pocket, and he's going to keep on doing it if you paid attention to the economic package that I played just a little bit before that. We'll see. It's up to you coming up in November. You make the decision what the heck you want to do to yourself, your children, and your country. Anyhow, hey, let's move on. And obviously, again, in the news, is that we cannot cool down what's going on between Israel and the Palestine people and the various fraction groups that are over there. And it's you have people in the United States that are pro-Israel. You have people in the United States that are pro-Palestinian. And, you really got to step back and take a look at the history of the whole particular situation. So I thought that we on Tim's Tidbits should take the time to fully understand what is going on in Israel, Palestine.
On October 7th, 2023, the terror organization Hamas carried out an attack on Israel. Since then, thousands of people on both the Israeli and Palestinian side have lost their lives, reigniting the conflict in the Middle East. The Middle East conflict is a rather complex and, above all, very old conflict. The dispute revolves around a piece of land that's not even as big as Brandenburg, yet its consequences are felt across the entire world. The region we know today as Israel has been home to many different peoples across history: Jews, Romans, and Arabs. When the British forces conquered this land during World War I, it was inhabited primarily by Palestinian Arabs. Simultaneously, Jews were persecuted and displaced from many countries across the world. The idea of a dedicated Jewish state emerges precisely in the area where Jews had settled over 2,000 years ago, and that is now inhabited by Palestinians, the present-day Israel. The British supported this idea, but made a fairly consequential miscalculation. They promised the same piece of land to both the Jewish people and the Palestinian population that was already living there. From that point onwards, Jewish people from all over the world were allowed to immigrate into present-day Israel. During the persecution of Jews in the Second World War, immigration numbers rose steadily. The Jewish population hoped they could finally live in peace here. They bought land and settled down, displacing the Palestinians originally living there. Conflicts were inevitable and escalated over time. Consequently, in 1947, the British withdrew their troops, leaving it to the United Nations to find a solution to the problem. And a solution, at least in the short term, is found. The region was divided. A partition plan dictated that each party gets roughly half of the land. While the Jewish population celebrated the newly founded State of Israel, the remaining Palestinian population felt displaced from their land. The surrounding Arab nations also reject the establishment and declared war on the country on its very first day of existence. Israel managed to win this war, but over the following decades, many more wars continued to shake the region. Ultimately, Israel maintains the upper hand. The Palestinians, however, now without an organized military at all, are desperate. Some of them turn to a different weapon: terrorism. Today, Israel controls an area larger than what was originally allocated to them in the UN partition plan. To protect themselves against Palestinian terror attacks, they even built a wall. And the disputes haven't stopped. They mainly revolve around 5 points. First, the border. A Palestinian state is supposed to be established so both Palestinians and Israelis can live peacefully side by side. There is no clear consensus, however, over the division of territories. Second, the settlements. Israel is constructing new settlements and houses, primarily on land that is officially Palestinian territory. This leads to even more Palestinians being displaced from their homes. Third, the city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem holds immense religious significance for both Jewish Israelis and Muslim Palestinians. The Western Wall for Jews and the Temple Mount for Muslims are located there. Fourth, the right of return for Palestinian refugees. Millions of Palestinians were forced to flee their homes during the conflicts. They seek to return, but Israel prohibits it, suggesting that the refugees should find a new home in Palestinian territory or neighboring countries. Fifth, water. Israel is located in a desert, further intensifying the dispute over land that contains precious water resources. Terror and violence have led to a lack of trust between the parties, which makes negotiating a lasting peace agreement even more difficult. Until a solution to the Middle East conflict is found, the cycle of violence will continue.
I agree 100%. I told you it was old and complicated. It goes way back. So, apparently that's what happens when you have a stronger country, in this particular instance, Britain, come in there and tell another country this is how it's going to be, and just because we're bigger and stronger, you're going to put up with it. And it just seems like ever since then, things have not gone well. And interesting how, in part of it, and this happens too. I mean, you look at what happened in Vietnam when you had Russia in there. They backed out. You had France in there, and they fought for a while, backed out, couldn't do anything, just infringing on the North and South viewpoints. Same thing with America. Same thing in this particular situation. These people have been at it for years, and you're not going to settle it by, just strong-arming one and telling them this is how it's going to be, because they're going to have some animosities, and it may look settled, but it ain't going to be settled. Speaking of getting things settled, you may or may not also know that the Longshoremen, International Longshoremen's Association, the ship dock workers went on strike, and looking for better pay, better guarantees of longevity rather, of their jobs or positions. And in fact, the news even kind of put the mic up in Biden's face on that this morning, if you caught it. Is he going to intervene? Apparently there's an act that you can invoke like he did with the auto workers. And he said, no, he's not going to intervene on this one because he doesn't want to intervene with collective bargaining, which is part of our unions, part of American rights to organize so that we can get better conditions. But he said he is not going to intervene on this. And let's take a kind of a peek at what's going on. I'll keep you up to date. What's happening with the dock workers strike, and what is it exactly that the International Longshoremen's Association wants out of all this?
For the first time in decades, dock workers from Houston to Maine are on strike. The union members are fighting an effort to make ports automated, something that's been done really around the world. Workers also want big raises. Fox 4's Stephen Dial spoke to an economist about the potential impact in North Texas. Stephen.
SMU economist Mike Davis says that we won't see an immediate impact here in North Texas, but the union leaders predicting this to go on for months, which could trickle down to impacting everyone.
If it was up to them, they'd like to see automation up and down in every port, all the way down to Houston. Well, that ain't never going to happen with me.
It's something that hasn't happened in decades. Tuesday, union dock workers went on strike from the port of Houston up to Maine. Members of the International Longshoremen's Association are calling for higher pay and protection against automation. Harold Daggett is the ILA International president.
The offers that we had, it didn't work out. And I just told them, so long, goodbye, I'm going with my members. We're always willing to sit down when the right numbers hit.
We talked to SMU economist Mike Davis about the scale of this walkout.
The Amazon delivery van is great, air cargo is great, but the only efficient way to deliver a great many items is by ocean shipping.
The biggest question, will this strike impact you, the consumer at home in North Texas? The answer is yes, but not right away.
I'm not too concerned about the short run effects. I'm not even really that concerned about for the next let's say through the Christmas season, because it seems like a lot of places have made adjustments for this. They've ordered merchandise. They've moved shipments around to the West Coast.
Davis says President Biden could step in, but with the election 40 days away, it's unlikely.
There is the option, and it would have to come from President Biden, to invoke the Taft-Hartley Act and call for an 80-day cooling off period.
Ports on the West Coast operate under a different union. The busiest hubs in Los Angeles and Long Beach have increased automation in recent years. The ILA president says it's resulted in a loss of hundreds of jobs. The automation subject isn't unique to the U.S. Ports around the world have moved in that direction, most aggressively in China.
I understand the unions want higher wages, and we all want higher wages. That's fine. But to just basically block new technology from making its way to the ports, to deliberately make shipping goods less efficient, that's worrisome.
So here's what the unions are asking for. They want about 77% wage increase over a 6-year span. The last proposal that was sent to them that was turned down was a 50% increase.
So yeah, they're just trying to play some catch up. Maybe they are overreaching a little bit. I want 75% increase in my pay over the next few years. That might be a bit of an overreach. I don't know how you feel about collective bargaining. I don't know. Somebody's making big money. And the trouble is the big guys don't want to share it. And we know that's what it's all about, is maintaining your profit margins so that you can keep your investors happy and everybody's playing in the sandbox together. Real nice. The only people that's really taking it in the end is you and I, the consumers, because of the price. Oh, the Taft-Hartley Act, yeah, that was in 1947, and that was to, prohibit unions from basically doing things beyond the scope of what their members really wanted them to do. Really not applicable in this particular case, and we'll see what happens. As I said, we'll probably more like feel the effects, and that will be after Christmas, and we'll see if these people who are, running the shipping business, want to share in some of that, we call them middlemen growing up, right? Some of these middlemen want to share some of the profits that they've been skimming for years and share it with the people who are actually unloading and shipping the product for them. We'll see. Hey, let's move on to another part of the show that everybody likes, and that is called Dude, you gotta be kidding me. How about What the Fuck? And here's a good one for you, and fantastic convention for you if you have an automobile in the city and it has jaywalkers.
But the results needn't always be serious. Thanks to the inventive minds of two Sheffield engineers, the safety scoop has arrived. It can be fitted to bumpers or take the place of them, and it folds neatly away when it isn't eating pedestrians. The inventors are confident enough to demonstrate it themselves. A flick of a lever, and the scoop has another mouthful. When the scoop is open, a jaywalker simply can't get run over, and sometimes that's more than he deserves. From the car to the coach, or rather
Got to get one of those on every vehicle out there, so when you come across a jaywalker, you simply scoop him up, not run him over. Save a lot of lives. I think we should lobby to have that put as a safety device in all manufactured vehicles. What do you think? Leave that in your comment box. Hey, let's get on to one more moment, and that would be some of the toys that are available for kids. And I think back in the 1950s and 1960s, when we used to have like Bunsen burner sets and things like this, it was going overboard. But take a look at this one.
Howdy, folks. Are your kids tired of the same old toys for Christmas? Well, buckle up, because we've got something out of this world for you. Introducing the Plutonium Playset, the toy that'll have an atomic reaction. Kids can even make their own mini nuclear reactors.
Look, Mom, I made Peanut into a hamster that glows in the dark. That's great, honey.
But that's not all. We'll even throw in a free Geiger counter for every purchase. Monitor the radiation levels in your home while your kids embark on their atomic adventures.
Honey, what's that sound?
Oh, just the Johnsons testing out the plutonium playset again.
T-minus 3, 2, 1, and liftoff.
Mom, I'm making nuclear lemonade.
Concerned about safety? Fret not. The plutonium playset includes safety goggles, hazmat suits, and a manual on how to avoid creating a real-life Godzilla.
Back in my day, we just had stick horses and tin cans. Now it's all atomic this and radioactive that.
Oh my God, Steve, is it supposed to be doing that?
I'm sure everything's fine, dear. They're just having fun. Leave them alone.
My mom said I can't come over anymore unless you promise not to turn our sandbox into a fallout zone again.
Ah, fine, I promise.
So grab your plutonium playset today and let the atomic adventures begin. Because in the 1950s, the only thing more explosive than science is fun. It's not responsible for glowing pets, mini mushroom cloud rashes, superpowers, damage to property, or radiation poisoning. Batteries not included. Iodine tablets sold separately.
This is a quarantine zone. Go back to your homes.
Get yours for Christmas this year. I think there's some pre-orders available. You'll just have to look it up for your plutonium playset for your child. Anyhow. Hey, let's get into another part of the show that everybody really likes, and this is our Asshole Award. You better believe it. And you wonder who is going to make Asshole of the Week. If you've been paying attention to, again, what's going on TV, talk politics, you've seen that there is a gentleman running for governor down in North Carolina who he is a black gentleman, and he calls himself a black Nazi, believes in the reestablishment of slavery and some other weird off-the-wall freaking ideas. Let's take a look at, see who exactly is Mr. Robinson.
And now a story leaked by him to CNN is appearing now. Let me reassure you, the things that you will see in that story, those are not the words of Mark Robinson. You know my words, you know my character, and you know that I am.
We found a bunch of pervy bits about you on the site. We'd like to hear how you explain yourself. Look around you, all you see are sycophantic spies. Take your time and speak into this microphone. And here's to you, Mr. Robinson. We came to hear the noxious hate you spew. Woo, woo, woo. Hypocrisy, Mr. Robinson. It's time for your campaign to go away. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Civil rights mean nothing, you called him Martin Luther Coon. You must admit that was a mistake. But if you're a Nazi, I guess that you don't really care. Most of all, you said it just to own the libs. Mega Sig Heil, Mr. Robinson. We came to hear the noxious hate you spew. Woo, woo, woo. Hypocrisy, Mr. Robinson. It's time for your campaign to go away. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Crashed on JD's sofa on a Sunday afternoon. Going to the candidates debate, yeah. No, we're just kidding, LOL emoticon. Everywhere you look at this, you're gone. Where have you gone, MAGA Republicans? He wanted to bring slavery back for you. Woo, woo, woo. What's that you say, Mr. Robinson? Donald Trump has left and gone away. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the music. Hope you enjoyed the update on what's going on with Mark Robinson down in North Carolina. I don't get it how you can, I just don't get it. I'm confused. Again, I ask you, if you have an idea, please, right over here in the comment section, tell me why Mark Robinson would flip like that and think that, black Nazis, slavery's okay, and I need that explained to me. Maybe I'm not understanding something for one reason and or the other. If you have some insight, again, please clue me and just leave it over there in the comments. Anyhow, hey, again, I super appreciate you. I got to wrap up the show. I hope you enjoyed the topics that we briefed you on. Maybe caught you up a little bit about something you may or may not have known, or maybe just put a smile on your face, which is another one of my intents besides letting you know something you may or may have not have known. But in any regards, let's get on out of here, and let me leave you with a little bit of music on the way out. And who doesn't enjoy a good guitar solo? I love a good guitar solo. And with that in mind, until next week, folks, peace out of here. Bye-bye.